Now, today's show is highly sensitive. In fact, I almost made it a weekly intelligence briefing. Oh yes, yeah, it is highly sensitive. So a very warm welcome. It appears that there's a political link, in the ongoing troubles deep in the Rift Valley in a place called Baringo. Now, of course, this is very alarming, especially when we consider recent statements made by the Deputy President, making predictions about the 2022 presidential race. I would also like to take this opportunity, before I show you the brief clip that's following, to remind you that as we head into the general elections, it is very important to focus on a few key players who played a major role in the last elections, either for good or for bad. It is very important to focus on those individuals. Now, one of those individuals is, of course, a man called Dennis Itumbi. Everybody knows him. 36 bloggers fame. The main man when it comes to communications for the Deputy President. Now, I have a playlist of videos, very interesting stuff, on Bwana Dennis Itumbi, which will be able to make anybody predict very accurately the impact is going to have on the upcoming polls. You'll find a link to that playlist in the description area below. But meanwhile, karibu sana, and please enjoy this short clip before we go into our main topic today. Very sensitive stuff. Enjoy. Kindly allow me a second to share with you a heads up. I would highly recommend that you do not miss my weekly intelligence briefings, number 74, the very latest weekly intelligence briefings. Now, I'm aware that we have not produced a weekly intelligence briefings since my personal tragedy, but I'm now fully back, and very engrossed in my work, and I've been doing a lot of digging around, collecting verified information all over the place. Now, weekly intelligence briefings number 74 reveals some very shocking secrets of the Deputy President. A lot of the stuff, a lot of the content in this weekly intelligence briefings is sensitive, so I cannot say much. But I'd also like to add that you have an opportunity, which you should take full advantage of. You see, we're heading towards the general elections, barely 6 months away, and there are a lot of things. There's a lot of information, juicy details that I can never share on this public channel. It is impossible for me to share on this public channel. They'll all be in the WIB. And of course, these are bound to increase as elections draw closer. What these dirty politicians are really doing behind the scenes, etc., etc. Very important information that will help you to understand my other videos totally. Now, I have a very special offer for a very limited time. You can take a 6-month subscription, for below $10. Details on your screen right now. Rush and go for it. Now, of course, within 6 months, we'll be into September. The elections will be over. And so you'll be sure that you'll miss nothing. Okay? So I highly recommend go for it. You can see details on your screen. Just send a blank email to that email address you see, and you'll receive an automated email response giving you full payment details. The same payment details are repeated in the description area below this video. I'm really looking forward to seeing you on the other side and serving you as a WIB member. In the run-up to any general election, it is extremely important to be highly sensitive to the news coming through. Yeah, because chances are very high that a lot of that news is linked to the general elections, upcoming general elections, let alone the elections Kenyans are about to go into. In my view and in the view of many, the most important general elections this country has ever had. We should be especially sensitive as we head into these elections, with all the complexities, with all the issues that have arisen, many of them unprecedented. Now, many people have heard that there's a problem in Baringo. Baringo is in the Rift Valley. Baringo is the home county of the second president of the Republic of Kenya, the late President Daniel Toroitich arap Moi. Now, what tends to happen in Kenya, very unfortunate, is that when something happens far away from the capital city, far away from Nairobi, people play it down. Many people are not even interested. I mean, just go out there and tell people there's a problem in Baringo, and those people are not from Baringo. The reception you'll get are yawns. People yawning. They are bored. That's boring news. Tell us something about what Ruto said yesterday. Tell us something about what Raila said. That Baringo stuff is boring. Now just hold your horses for a minute. There is now emerging evidence that the trouble in Baringo is not only political, but it may be linked to the 2022 general elections. And the link is in a very curious development. Very fishy information coming out of Baringo at the moment. Now, just to bring you up to speed before I give you that information. Now, in Baringo, hundreds of families have been displaced. In Baringo, recently, when the national exams started, security arrangements, special security arrangements had to be made for babies to sit for their exams. That tells you immediately this is already a hotspot in a country called Kenya. Now, the latest information coming in from locals, which has been passed on to the government, is that a strange white helicopter was first spotted in the area, landing frequently at the Korkoron hills. That's where hundreds of bandits, heavily armed, are grazing their cattle and livestock. And that is where they are launching their attacks from, on innocent, defenseless locals. Now, this helicopter was first spotted in early January. Just a few weeks later, the current problem started. At first, when locals saw this white helicopter, they assumed it belonged to the government. It belonged to the police. They were surveying the area. Only for the security team on the ground to deny and say they have nothing to do with that helicopter. It is not theirs. Now locals are saying that this helicopter may be the one that is being used to supply ammunition. By the way, that's another mystery about these troubles in Baringo. Because many people don't realize causing trouble needs financing. Kama uko na bunduki, inahitaji marisasi. Marisasi ni pesa. So locals are suspecting that this ammunition and supplies, food, etc., may be coming to the bandits via this chopper. Now. Not everybody can own a chopper. That is a fact. And therefore this latest information has far-reaching implications on the troubles in Baringo. More so when we are so close to the next general elections. Barely 5 months away and counting. Now, for those not familiar with the Kumekucha brand and this channel, let me quickly bring you up to speed. I have done several videos, and indeed even in the days of my blog, I did a number of posts informing Kenyans, bringing Kenyans up to speed with the fact that sadly in our politics, violence and displacing people is a key tool used to win elections. Oh yes, you heard me right. It is even used on a small scale by people seeking parliamentary seats in certain arid, remote areas in the country. Let me give you a quick example. A person who has been displaced will not be able to get to the polling station where they're registered as voters. People who are having trouble in the area where they live, especially this kind of violence, armed attacks, etc., etc., those people cannot be able to vote with a clear mind because their priority quickly becomes their own security. And so it is very easy for somebody to come in and tell these voters, if you want peace and security, vote for so and so. And we've seen this happen in Kenya many times, especially during the first multi-party elections in Kenya in 1992 in the Rift Valley. Also in the second multi-party elections in Kenya in 1997, also in the Rift Valley. Now, as we try and solve this mystery, as we try and put everything together to try and figure out what is really going on here, White Helicopter and the clashes so close to the elections, or rather the bandit attacks, let me remind you of an interesting incident that unfolded bang in the middle of Baringo County late last year. It was the funeral of the former Baringo North legislator, Andrew Kiptun. It was reported that there was a clash, wait for this one, between KANU and UDA supporters at a funeral. Tensions were high. Now I've put a link to that video in the description area below. Just make sure you catch it so that nobody says Chris is inventing things like UDA people and supporters on this channel like to accuse me of. Anyway, politically, that immediately tells you that in Baringo, late last year, there were already tensions between two political parties, the KANU party and the UDA party. A simple question for you. When tensions start somewhere and nothing happens to quell those tensions, will those tensions escalate as the months go by, or they'll just die down? You tell me. Now, let's look at some other information that may be relevant to what we're seeing here, what is happening, including this latest development about a white helicopter which does not belong to the police, does not belong to the security guys in the region, landing frequently at the Korkoron hills. In 2017, there were 232,258 registered voters in the entire Baringo County. And the Baringo County had many candidates winning belonging to the Jubilee Party. And of course, this is the faction within the Jubilee Party then, that is now UDA, allied to the Deputy President. For example, the governor and his deputy were Jubilee Party. Yeah, people. They won on a Jubilee ticket, beating KANU competitors. Yeah. If I can break that down further for you, this is really Gideon Moi versus William Samoei Ruto. Yeah, in Baringo, competing politically for supremacy. That's what it was in 2017. It's very interesting because Tiaty is obviously a KANU stronghold, or at least was in 2017. Because all the MCAs in Tiaty constituency were KANU. Yeah, those particular candidates won on a KANU ticket. Okay. We also know that the senator of the county won on a KANU ticket. Yeah, because the senator of Baringo is a man known as Kshs. Now just hold your horses. I can already hear people saying, Chris, what are you talking about? Who's that? You're wrong. We all know the senator of Baringo County. Hold your horses. Tuliza Boli, I finish. Actually, the full names of the man, and this really surprised me because I didn't know those two other names. The full names of the man are as follows: Gideon Kshs Moi. Oh yes. Now there's something very important here. Yeah, a political thing that I believe we should all take careful note of. Senator Moi won his senatorial seat by winning 65.8% of the total votes cast. He got 116,290 votes. Yeah, registered voters are 232,258. In other words, he won by a landslide. His Jubilee competitor got only 32% of the vote. Now what that tells me as a political analyst is that the Gideon Moi brand in Baringo County is much stronger than the KANU brand. I'm sure you get what I mean. And if you don't, let me break it down further. It also means that in case Azimio wants all these 232,258 plus registered voters in the county to vote Azimio, all they have to do is to ensure that Raila Odinga's running mate is a man called Gideon Moi. Oh yes, that's how politics kunaendanga. Now I can already hear somebody saying, oh Chris, 232,000 votes are very few. Yeah, of course more people have registered as voters this time. I don't have the figures. Yeah, but it's higher than that. But you'll still tell me, Chris, those are very few votes. Not interested if I was Azimio. Now hold on your horses a minute. In the entire Rift Valley, Gideon Moi is a strong brand. Of course, William Samoei Ruto is a much stronger brand. But Gideon Moi in the Rift Valley is still a fairly strong brand. It is a brand you cannot ignore, although Ruto is the stronger brand. Bottom line, if I was vying for the presidency and I was in Azimio, I already know how Rift Valley is going to vote. Are we together? However, as a strategy, I would want to make sure, yeah, let nobody misquote me. I'm talking about Kumekucha Chris. Yeah, I'm not talking about Raila Odinga, the candidate. Hint, hint. Anyway, I would want to ensure that I get as many votes as possible in my major opponent's territory, in his home ground. So what's the best way of doing that? Is to make the strongest brand in Baringo County my running mate. That is the only way I would ensure maximum votes from the stronghold of my major opponent. Now, those who are regulars on this channel already know that I've stuck my neck out, and I have said that in my opinion, I do not believe that Raila Odinga's running mate will be from the Mount Kenya region. Yeah. simply because the Mount Kenya region is already covered as far as Raila Odinga's campaigns are concerned. How so? Uhuru Kenyatta will be campaigning, has promised to campaign for Azimio. Indeed, is the party leader of the other major partner in Azimio, which is the Jubilee Party. Of course, the other partner in Azimio is ODM, the party. And so, if I was the main presidential candidate in Azimio, it would make perfect sense to have my running mate, a strong brand from the Rift Valley. Jijazieni. Okay, and let's wait and see what happens. Because I know the newspapers, the media have been very busy telling us that Raila Odinga's running mate must come from the Mount Kenya region. But Kumekucha Kshs sees it differently. And what I am saying is that Raila Odinga's running mate will most probably come from the Rift Valley. Even if they are Mount Kenya, they will most probably come from the Rift Valley. Let me just leave it at that. And let's wait and see what happens. Right, let's tie up this. What we have in front of us on our plates today, Baringo County. In my opinion, all the evidence before us, everything I've presented to you, suggests that the troubles in Baringo County must be politically instigated. Ay, 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 ay. Now that is significant. It is very sad. It is so sad, but it is significant. It tells us a lot. But of course we are very far from solving this mystery, because we have a lot of complications here before us. One of the complexities, is the fact that this time round, as we head into the general elections, as we head into the presidential elections, both major candidates are in government. Oh yes, William Samoei Ruto is in government. He's close to the government. Raila Odinga is close to the government. Wah? Kimeumana kuumana ama sio? Wah? You know, the problem is, when you're close to government, when you're in government, you can get away with many things. You can do some dirty tricks, and you can use security personnel, and you can get away with it. And even those government personnel you use can get away with it, because they can say, if anybody questions them, even if you take them to court, they can simply say, I was serving the sitting Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. End of story. And those on the other side, of such a problem, the good guys, will have a very difficult time, because for them to take any action, they need evidence. And where are they going to get this evidence? Because all these manenos are happening within government. What? Poor Baringo folks. Oh, it is so sad. And even on the ground, Bwana Kipselei Towet, Gideon Kipselei Towet Moi, is very close to government. William Samoei Ruto, his main opponent and rival in the Rift Valley, is still the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. Last time I checked, that is somebody in government. He's using government resources. He has government security teams guarding him day and night, etc., etc. What? Folks, this is complicated. For anybody who understands the way things work and what happens in Kenya in a deeper way. I'm not talking about cheerleaders. I'm not talking about wannabes. I'm journalists. No. This is a very deep recording. And I've not said anything out of order. I've just given you the facts as they are. Jijazie mwenyewe. Now before I go, I just want to remind you, make sure you catch up with my latest WIB. Take full advantage of the special offer. There are details in the description area below this video on YouTube. Asanteni sana for your continued support. Until next time, this is Kshs. Kumekucha.